In a 2016 New Zealand Herald Reader poll, a 2011 drunk driving PSA became the country's best television advertisement. It centered on ghost chips. The target was not only the person drinking. Focus groups found young men often avoided stopping friends because speaking up felt awkward, so the campaign addressed the bystander. At a party, the protagonist wonders whether to stop George from driving. He imagines George becoming a ghost, offering chips he cannot eat, turning a social worry into a personal consequence. Instead of graphic danger, the advertisement uses comedy. The protagonist decides he can speak up without killing the mood, telling George, "Crash here." The intervention becomes a recognizable act between friends. That line and others like "ghost chips" moved beyond the screen into memes, merchandise, and everyday anti-drink driving references. Police even distributed wristbands reading "ghost chips" in 2012, carrying the intervention from television into public life. The ad's reach made speaking up easier to remember, though its direct effect on driving behavior could not be isolated. An animator with arachnophobia designed a spider boss for Magic Cat Academy, then the game rejected it as way too scary. Magic Cat Academy is a Halloween browser game starring Momo, a black cat wizard. Players draw spell symbols to defeat ghosts across 5 escalating levels. The player uses a mouse or touchscreen to match those shapes before ghosts reach her. The animator had to confront the feared subject closely enough to turn it into a game enemy. She somehow overcame her fear long enough to make the concept. Her work included animation and gameplay concepts, so the fear became a design problem rather than a distant idea. But the finished spider design failed the project's tone test. The team vetoed it because it was considered way too scary, even for a spooky Halloween game. The released series kept its spooky world centered on Momo, drawn spells, and boss encounters. Later games changed the setting from school to deep sea to the atmosphere. The first entry appeared October 30, 2016. Sociologist Roberta G. Simmons found that the same organ transplant could feel like a priceless gift to one recipient. Another experienced it as a burdensome debt. Simmons was an American sociologist who later studied organ transplants and biomedical altruism. Her work examined what donation means beyond the medical procedure itself. She approached transplantation as a social and ethical question, not only a medical event. An organ is not experienced only as tissue placed inside a body. For some recipients, receiving it also carried an obligation attached to the help. The medical benefit therefore did not determine one uniform personal interpretation. Simmons developed this research in the 1970s, publishing Gift of Life in 1977. In 1979, a Guggenheim Fellowship supported her study of transplantation's policy and ethical issues. It leaves donation with no single meaning. One recipient may understand an organ as a priceless gift, while another experiences it as a burdensome debt. The physical transplant may be the same while its social meaning differs. Sarah Kraning does not experience music only as sound. Synesthesia makes it appear as color, texture, and movement, which she translates into abstract paintings. Kraning has described this experience as beginning in childhood. For her, hearing is not limited to an audible signal, it can also produce visual and tactile impressions. This cross-sensory perception is personal, not a description of ordinary hearing. That changes what painting starts with. Music becomes source material for visual decisions. Kraning uses her perceptions of sound to shape abstract works, rather than treating songs as background audio. Her paintings have represented music connected with Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish, Chappell Roan, and the Beatles. She began sharing the artwork on TikTok in 2021 during the COVID-19 pandemic and quickly attracted large attention. Her process also expanded into live paintings with musicians. Those collaborations have included Rufus Du Sol, Perry Farrell, Armani White, and Bob Moses. The paintings make one person's private experience of sound observable without claiming every viewer hears music the same way. At 12, Malgorzata Rosiak received a snowboard as a Christmas present. Years later, that first board preceded 14 gold medals at the Polish National Championships. Her father, Darius, was the first president of the Polish Snowboarding Association and coached her as she began competing. At 15, in her first Polish championships, she won 2 gold medals in junior slalom. In 1993, she moved into senior competition and won gold in both slalom and giant slalom at the national championships. At the end of 1994-95, she ranked 4th worldwide in the combined World Cup standings. The following season, she ranked 3rd, becoming the first person from Poland to finish among the World Cup's top 3. Her record grew beyond that ranking. Medals came at Junior World, and European Championships alongside World Cup results. At national championships, the final count was 14 gold and 4 silver medals. Together, those national championship medals totaled 20 across her career. Before becoming Riga's archbishop, Reynolds Grants worked as a criminal investigator in Saldus and later as a senior Interpol inspector in Latvia. His investigation work in Saldus ran from 1993 to 1994. He served with Interpol from 1998 to 2001. His early route included formal police education. He earned a bachelor's degree from the Latvian Police Academy and qualified as a lawyer in Latvia. After police studies, he enrolled at Luther Academy while continuing law enforcement work. He also studied theology at the University of Latvia and earned a master's degree there. The sequence allowed him to pursue theological training without immediately leaving law enforcement work. That preparation led to a pastoral role at Old St. Gertrude's Church in Riga in 2000. In 2017, he was also named vice-rector of Luther Academy. In 2022, he became an auxiliary bishop. In June 2025, he won a majority of votes in the church synod. He was installed as Archbishop of Riga at Riga Cathedral on August 30, 2025. As a child, future Kumamoto Governor Takashi Kimura admired baseball pitcher Jim Abbott. Kimura was missing his left hand, Abbott was missing his right. His admiration was explicitly tied to that shared physical difference, linking a Japanese child with an American athlete he knew through baseball. The similarity crossed nationality and profession without requiring the two men to share the same career. Abbott's role as a baseball pitcher made the comparison concrete. Kimura could see someone with that difference occupying an athletic role. Baseball supplied a recognizable setting where Abbott's ability was visible to young viewers. Kimura later studied law at University of Tokyo. In 1999, he entered Japan's Ministry of Home Affairs, shifting the next chapter from watching sport to working in government. Those steps placed the childhood example beside a developing public service career. He became Kumamoto's vice governor in 2020, then governor in 2024. The childhood connection stayed specific, while his later public career took its own path. The offices also place that admiration alongside his education and government service. Sylvia Contreras wanted to be a high school cheerleader, then discovered flag football and became a 2-time World Games gold medalist. Flag football gave that new direction a major international stage. The World Games, an event for sports and disciplines outside the Olympic program. They are usually held every 4 years and governed by the International World Games Association. That makes the setting more than a local competition, it is an established multi-sport event. The important shift was practical. An unfamiliar activity became the sport Contreras chose to pursue seriously, replacing her original school-age goal. Instead of continuing toward the role she first imagined, she invested her effort in flag football. An unexpected discovery therefore changed not only what she tried, but the sporting path she pursued. Her outcome went far beyond trying something new. Contreras won World Games gold twice, making the redirection measurable on an international stage. The result records a repeated outcome, not a one-time experiment. A new option can redirect adolescent ambition, giving an unexpected activity room to become a serious destination.